give a smile, give a smile, give a smile, give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, 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 give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile, give a smile, give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smile. Give a smile, 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 give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, lio lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio 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 besimcha. Be the reason someone smiles. 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 Siva gedola, lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio besimcha. The reason someone smiles. 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 Be 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 the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, 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 give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, 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 give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, lio lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio besimcha. Give a smile, 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 give a smile. Be the reason someone smile. Give a smile, give a smile, give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo 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 besimcha. Be the reason someone smiles. 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 Siva gedola, liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo besimcha. Someone smile. The reason someone smile. The reason someone smile. The reason someone smiles. The reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile, give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile, give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo besimcha.
Breakfast with Elli.
מודה אני לפניך מלך חי וקיים שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך
השם יתברך, תמיד אוהב אותי ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. והשם יתברך, תמיד אוהב אותי ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. ויהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, ועוד 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 יותר טוב.
third day of Iyar. The Torah portion is Tazria-Metzora, HaYom Chamishi l'Shabbos, fifth day, counting up toward Shabbos. We learn the fifth Aliyah. We are counting 18 to the Omer. 18 to the Omer. It is Thursday. We have so much to talk about and so much to do and so much to be thankful for. So let us start. It is a very special day. It is Gimel Iyar. Gimel Iyar is the, where'd he go? Gimel Iyar is the yahrzeit of Reb Shayel Akaris. And we're going to talk about, I'm sorry about that. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Let me put that picture back up because I had a really good picture of him. Here it is. Let me just get that up on the screen. Here we go. There we are. Well, that was fast. And we're just going to keep the picture of Reb Shayel Akaris over here for now. Just to remind us what the day is. You like that? All right. We'll talk about him in just a few minutes. Yes, we did. We went to see Dead Outlaw. I'm sorry, not Dead Outlaw. We went to see, I don't know why I said Dead Outlaw. Because the Tony nominations are in, It's really weird. Went to see Floyd Collins yesterday, matinee. And, of course, my obligatory magnet and pin, which I'll be putting up in the pin case later on today. Here we go. So, just in a nutshell, my opinion of this piece of theater. My opinion of this piece of theater is not very high. I did not like the show. The story is it's a very good story. It's based on a true story. Unfortunately, they left a lot of things out, and I think they were things that were important to the story. We had tremendous seats, by the way. Thank you, Telecharge, for letting us having us win the lottery. We won the lottery. I think the story could have had a lot of more oomph to it had they included some of the actual facts of the story that they left out. I'm sure when you have a story as big as this, it's, there's a decision at some point you have to say, you know what, this stays and this has to go. I can't tell everything. And I do appreciate that. However, I would have done it a little differently. Unfortunately, I am not the biggest fan of Mr. Adam Gutel, who is 60 years old now. He is the son of Mary Rogers, the grandson of the famous Richard Rogers of Rogers and Hammerstein fame. He's written a bunch of things. I'm not familiar with a lot of them. Light in the Piazza I'm familiar with. I did not like the music to that either. My thing about music for a musical is if it's a song that's taking somebody 6 months to learn, it's not a song. And of course, there were no hummable songs. I have no recollection of any of the songs. I am not singing any of the songs. Nothing is floating around up there, which is not a good sign for me. The acting, superb. Taylor Trench gets a Best Supporting Actor nomination today, perfectly earned. So, yeah, the acting was really, really good. The singing was really great. Ted Sperling conducted the orchestra. He is fantastic. Oh, excuse me. Don't know why. A gentleman named Yotam Ben something or other played harmonica, which was just superb harmonica. Very 1900, early 1900s, 1917 to 1925 brand of down-home Kentucky music. It was interesting. There were a couple of moments where there were a couple of things that were melodic, but they soon turned into tunes that I don't know what they are. So if you are so inclined to go see Floyd Collins, it's at the Lincoln Center Theater, the Vivian Beaumont. Tickets are available. It was a little bit more than half full for a matinee, which is not that bad. Some famous actor was sitting in back of me, and I have no idea who he was. A tween, teenager. I don't know. He was in his maybe early 20s. I know, I just mixed all my metaphors. But anyway, be that as it may, we did have a good time. It's 2.5 hours long, which is very long for a musical. It does have an intermission. If you've seen everything else, go see that. All right, men and boys, take your two front sitters. Everyone else, join us in the second bracha. Let's start davening. Because the computer's being cold and slow this morning.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah uvaravo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim galui v'yadua lifnei chisei Chevodecha she'im yisatem echad mehem o im yipateach echad mehem I efshar lehitkayem afilu sha'a echat Baruch atah Adonai rofe chol basar umafli la'asot Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah. Hareini mekabel alai mitzvat aseh shel ve'ahavta l'reach kamocha. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Torah tziva lanu Moshe.
That's a DACA box. I put it in the pushki, that's a DACA box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep. Yeah, I put it in the pushki, that's a DACA box. I put it in the pushki, that's a DACA box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Now take your right hand and place it over your eyes, and let's say the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuso Le'olam Va'ed.
ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך, ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
49 days to count the Omer.
All right, let's count the Omer.
After it's dark, Mark. At the end of my reef, Steve. Do it in shul, shmuel. Just count with me.
Just count.
Look for the stars, Tamar. Just be sure to make the bracha. Erev is the key, Tzvi. Count spirit with me.
All right, and here we go with the counting for day 18.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצרי סוד וציוונו על תפילה שלנו.
וספרתם לכם ממוחר עשה שבוס, ממוחר עשה שבוס, מיום אביכם. וספרתם לכם ממוחר עשה שבוס, מיום אביכם. אס אוימר התנופו.
שהכל נהיה בדבורוי, שהכל נהיה בדבורוי.
Breakfast. Okay, here we go. Yogurt and coffee. Making a bracha shehakol. If you'd like to join me, I'd be honored to have you join me. Yeah, there you go. All right, are you ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihiyah bidvoroi.
Coffee, blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. I want to taste you in the morning and a few times throughout the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way.
All right, fantastic. Today in Jewish history. All right, here we go. Are you ready? So much to talk about today. Really, so much to talk about. Let's see, where are we here? All right, news of the day. Yes, the 18th day of the Omer today. The Ancona boycott took place today in 1565. Following the Portuguese expulsion in 1496, many Jews who remained in Portugal became known as Marranos, openly identifying as Christians while secretly maintaining Jewish beliefs and traditions. Many of these secret Jews eventually migrated to other countries where they were once again able to profess their allegiance to Judaism. However, Because they had been baptized, their situation was often perilous. On the third day of Iyar in 1556, on orders of Pope Paul IV, 25 of these hidden Jews were burnt at the stake in Ancona, Italy. Grace Mendes Nasi was very influential and a wealthy woman, herself a Portuguese crypto Jew who relocated to the Ottoman Empire. In her past, she too had personally experienced persecution because of her status. Upon hearing about the burning of her co-religionists, she organized a financial boycott against the port of Ancona. She called on all Jews to do trade from the neighboring harbors and financially ruin Ancona. Her trade embargo was successful for a few months and is considered to be one of the first times Jews struck back against the Inquisition. How about that? That's pretty cool. Never again. There was an establishment of a Jewish congregation in Lower Austria. It was prohibited in 1857, and anti-Jewish riots broke out in Russia. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Yeah. All right, let's see. All right, here's the important one for today. Reb Shaila Karastir. Oh, Reb Chaim Chodakov. Let's do that first. Born in the Russian town of Beshenkovich on the 12th day of January in 1902, Daled Shvat, Chaim Mordechai Isaac Chodakov moved to Riga, Latvia with his parents in 1904. A born educator and pedagogue at a young age, Chaim Mordechai was appointed head of Jewish education to the Latvian Ministry of Education. When the 6th Lubavitcher Rebbe moved to Riga from Russia, Rabbi Chodakov became drawn to the Rebbe and became part of his workforce. In 1940, he accompanied the previous Rebbe to the United States. The previous Rebbe appointed Rabbi Chodakov as director of Merkos Le'Inyanei Chinuch, the educational arm of the Lubavitch movement, Machne Yisrael, the social service arm, and the Kahos Publication Society, all of which were under the chairmanship of the son-in-law of the Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson. In 1950, when the Rebbe ascended to the helm of the worldwide Hasidic movement, Rabbi Chodakov became his chief of staff and head of his secretariat, later appointed chairman of Agudas Hasidim Chabad, the umbrella organization that oversees all of Chabad's network of institutions. Rabbi Chodakov was a vigorous and resolute activist who innovated many educational ideas and programs. He was a role model for many young Hasidim in his demeanor and his devotion to the Rebbe. I had the privilege and pleasure of knowing Rabbi Chodakov personally for many, 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 many years. A tzaddik has left the building. All right, today is the yahrzeit of Reb Shaila Karastir. He passed away in 1925. Known affectionately as Reb Shaila, he served as the rabbi and Hasidic Rebbe in the city of Karastir and I can't say the other name, a village in northern Hungary. An accomplished Torah scholar and disciple of many leading Hasidic masters, renowned for his love of the simple folk, his radical hospitality, and the miracles that abounded in his presence. He passed away on this day, the third day of Iyar in 1925. In recent years, his gravesite and home in Karastir, Hungary, have been a magnet for pilgrims who come to soak up the Hasidic fervor and wholesome love and acceptance that guided his life. Here is a beautiful piece about Reb Shaila. It's in Yiddish.
Wisst mit dir? Ich höre die ganze Sache, mamisch a second Fall vor raus.
Läuft sie mit ein Utem zu der Stewardess auf dem Plane. Mein Vater ist gewesen vermischt in einer schrecklichen Accident. Ich muss gehen. Pinklich Pilich 6 Jahre zurück ist Mandy König gewesen auf dem Weg zum Ziehen von der Pscheile.
Ich habe gesetzt auf den Plan, schon Ziege gereiht zu fahren, manchmal mit der Gartel, mit moeilijke Rigushim, sie fahren zu Rebscheile. Manchmal ein Second, fahre ich vor raus, bekomme ich ein Telefon, einer von den Azule-Members in der Tessulen.
Und sagt ihm, Mandy, komm schon nach Rebbe. Dann war es gewesen vermischt nach schrecklichen Accident. Mandy fragt ihm, was ist geschehen?
Das zeigt mir, als meine Frau hat aufgegangen zu ihrem Boss, zusammen mit der Wegale, mit der Baby, ein Jahr alt. Der Driver hat vergessen zu versparen, die Tiere. Also hat der Mamschel, wenn sie fuhren.
Der Driver hat plötzlich gemacht einen Sharp Turn, so hat abgekollt alle Treppen, rausgefallen von den Tieren und angehackt in den Asen und Kohl.
Very good.
Die erste paar Minuten, sie ist gewesen, Mama ist auf einer schweren Matze, wollte nicht gewiss, was mit ihr. Und ich höre die ganze Sache, Mama ist ein Second Father vor raus.
Läuft sie mit einem Atem zu der Stewardess auf dem Plane. Man war es gewesen vermischt in einem schrecklichen Accident. Ich muss herabgehen von der Plane. Ob es nicht gewesen, mit wem zu reden. Der Plane sitzt schon auf dem Runway. Die Tieren sind versperrt. Jeder eine sitzt. Es ist nicht du, was hat ihn.
Und ich bleibe so stecken, mein Herz ist nicht du. Mein Kopf ist geflogen. Trachten, kommen in Machschubes, was geht vor, was mit meinem Wab, sie lebt, sie ist okay. Wo ist der Matze wies? Ich hab gar nicht gewusst. Glick Tono Akara.
Was wird du sagen? Wird es am Wabes machen? Oder Chulile?
Ich komme und ich gleich von meiner Tate fragen, wo es geht vor. Lugte mir Buch, Hashem, sie lebt. Der second Telefon, ich gewähne von aber Tzaddik Meilich Biedermann.
Rief dem Mann und fragt ihm die Schale. Wo soll ich tun? Soll ich jetzt nehmen einen Plane und gleich zurückfahren zu Zisruel zusammen am Wabenspetul? Oder soll ich nehmen den Weg von Kerestir und herauffahren zum Ziehen von der Pscheile? Der Meilich hat ihm gesagt, die weiter. Von wenn Ayid kischte me Sisse, herauszufahren zum Tzadik, begleitet ihm schon der Tzadik von jener Minute. Die bescheunen der Pscheiles Hand. Vorauf kann Kerestir, sah dort Mamesh für ein paar Minuten. Davon und nimm dich hinter der Kabule Teuve und drei dich gleich aus und komm zurück an Zizul zu seiner Spitul. Kommt Kerestir, kann sich allein vorstellen, hat nur gehabt gezahlte Minuten zu sein dort am Ziehen von der Pscheile. Hat auszugießen sein Herz und weint sich aus. Tracht, welche Kabule Teuve soll sich hinternehmen?
Im Scheide gewesen, Kilo Chesed. Und das hat mir genommen, sie bekommen nach Lute, und manchmal sind seine Sachen, helfen für jeden, tracht auf andere.
Wie soll, wenn, was, weiß ich noch nicht. Aber ich gehe helfen jeden. Mandy kommt zurück in Zisruel. Es gleich Ziege von uns im Spitul. Wie nur kommt die Doktoren sagen ihm gleich, Baruch Hashem, der Matze wird besser. Man sieht das schon in der Teufel jeden einzigsten Tag. Jene Freitag, Mandy kommt in Spitul mit seinem Strabel und Bäcketje. Meint sicher, geht braven in Shabbos in Spitul. Der Hauptdoktor kommt zu ihm und sagt ihm, Mandy, ich hab freilich ein Eis für dich. Dein Wab kann Hand rausgehen von Spitul. Sie wird noch davon zurückkommen für Surgeries, aber auf jetzt können sie schon nach Hause gehen. Mandy hat sich erkannt bleiben. Hat Pushet gespielt, wie der Keuch von dem Tzadik Reb Scheile begleitet ihm auf jeden dritten Schritt.
Ich kicke auf mein Wab und ich sehe, dass die Press ausgeleidig, ausgemitschet und kein Keuches. Mein erster Kind ist ein Autistikind. Wie kann ich nehmen mein Wab für ein Hospital, noch ein Trauma, nehmen in Stieb, wie soll ich sein auf Shabbos?
Und es fällt ihm an. Weißt du was? Lass mich gehen zu der Visions Hotel in Benaibrak. So gut zu dir nach Shabbos. Sie kommt Shabbos, geht davenen, macht Kiddush, und erst sie der Shabbos. Und noch der Siede setzt sich weg, ein paar Minuten, sich zu beruhigen. Und plötzlich spürt eine gewisse Ruhigkeit. Noch eine ganze Woche, sahen von ihm mit seinem Wab, die Doktorin, fuhren in Spital, mit Sadesam, wie die Kinder sollen sein. Es ist der erste Mal, wo sie sich chappen, der Utem.
Also Bereitkeit, also ich kann nehmen Lift. Ich habe uns gedacht nach Second. Das darf ich machen.
Das geht zusammen an Kabul für die Scheile. Für jeden, was machen mit. Und gehen durch demselben Schwierigkeit, was ich gehe durch. Sie rauszunehmen ins Hotel für ein Shabbos oder eine Vacation für ein paar Tage. Sie sollen können liken die Zure in Azad und sich beruhigen, sich umschöpfen mit frischen Keuches und sich spielen wie ein neuer Mensch, auf Warte zu gehen. Man halt an 6 Jahre später. Mandy hat schon geholfen, im Chaze gewesen, tausende Jiden, mit Vacations, mit heilige Shabbatons, an dem ganzen Etzesruh. Alles beschriss jener Pumenit, was Mandy ist gestanden beim Ziehen von der Pscheile, und sich integrieren in der Kabule zu gehen in der Wegen von der Pscheile, und Tien Chesed mit anderen Jiden.
Leider tausende Jiden gehen rüber tagtäglich Schwierigkeiten, 4 Probleme, schreckliche Tragedien. Und wir können nicht vorstellen, wo es geht darüber auf solche Familien.
Jede Jid, in welcher Matze er ist, kennt ihn Chesed mit der zweite Jid. Helfen der zweite Jid. Man kann sich sein der zweite Jid. Und durch den wird man geholfen. Und man sieht Yeshias normale mit der Chatebe.
Hi, Mandy. So tonight is the Kirstira's yard site, and I know that you have a tremendous story to tell over there,
Yes.
personal, so
Yes.
I'd appreciate if you share with
Sure.
us.
My pleasure.
Covered with Shia Levin and Moshe.
Yes. This occurred approximately a little under 3 years ago. I had a buddy of mine who, I unfortunately, my wife and I couldn't have children for close to 10 years. And I have a buddy of mine who, he didn't have a problem not having children, but he has a bunch of daughters and he wanted to have a boy. So he went to Reb Shaila, and 9 months later he had a boy. So he got back and he called me up. He said, Mendy, you have to go to Reb Shaila. I went there, had a baby 9 months to the day later, had a boy. I wanted to have a boy and it happened. I davened for it. I said, you know what, I've been to so many Rebbes, Kfarim Rebbes and daven. It didn't work. And I said, can't hurt to go to another one. So let me go to this rabbi, which I've never really heard of till then, Reb Shaila and Reb Moshe. So I went to Uman, but before I went to Uman, I said I'm going to go to Reb Shaila, check this whole thing out, what they're saying. So I get to Budapest. I'm there, probably didn't sleep all night. It's about 6:30 in the morning. I go to this kosher dairy breakfast place. I'm sitting down, I'm eating, and everyone's speaking Hungarian around me. I don't understand what's going on, but there was one fella about, I don't know, maybe 2 tables next to me, talking in English, and he's on his phone. So I say, hey, I just waved to him and say hi. He's like, hey, why don't you come sit with me? He tells me, I sit down. We start schmoozing. We have a few friends in common. He's from Lakewood, so I have some buddies from Lakewood that he's friends with, and we just start schmoozing. And he's a really nice guy, and he asks me, why am I here? And I told him, I said, I'm going to Reb Shaila. But if I didn't give him the reason I'm going, I said, I'm here, I'm going to Reb Shaila, I'm trying to get there, I'm not leaving yet. So he tells me, why don't you come along with me? I'm leaving in 15 minutes. So I say, okay, sounds right. I have some buddies I'm supposed to go with, but they're at the hotel. But you know what? You're leaving right now, I'm going to go with you. So he's like, okay, wonderful. Come along. So I get up. This guy's a very nice guy. He pays for my whole breakfast. I'm gonna look at you. It's easier. He pays for my whole breakfast, and I say I thank him, and we get into this fancy car. He has a chauffeur. I get in. We get into. I'm like, okay. I realize he's a very wealthy guy. Obviously, there's no question. He had a Louis Vuitton bag for a man with a Louis Vuitton bag. Something's funny going on here. So I get in the car. We're driving towards Karastar, and he looks at me and he says, what are you davening for? He just wanted to know. What I said, I have a sister that's stage 4 cancer, dying, And I myself, I haven't had a child in almost 10 years. I tell him the situation. And he says, he looks at me, and he starts asking a few questions about my sister. And then he says, I do stem cell research, stem cell curing or whatever he does. And he says, I may be able to help your sister. What has she done? And I start telling him, and he tells me this procedure is a $300,000 procedure. I'm like, my sister doesn't have 300, she's not a rich person. And he goes, I'm not asking for any money. Let me do the procedure for her. It'll be from my pocket. I'm like, wow. I'm thinking in my head, I'm on my way to daven to Shaila for my sister, where already a refuah is happening before I even left Budapest. I'm like, he's already seeing seeing answers, answers from Hashem through Reb Shaila, of course. And then I tell him, of course, I haven't had a child in 10 years. So we get to Kerister, I'm davening, thinking, whatever. The time leaves. I say my goodbyes. I take his phone number. Done. To make a long story short, my sister that year, Baruch Hashem, her cancer completely went away, stage 4 cancer, and I had a child 9 months later, and her name is Emuna Rivka.
Wow.
Great story.
Okay,
I hope I didn't skip out things.
No, it's terrific.
The power of a tzaddik. Never underestimate that. It is unbelievable. Reb Shaila of Kerestir. There is a custom. There's a whole story about mice. I don't have time to go into it today, but there's a whole story about mice with Reb Shaila, and they say if you put up his picture in your home, you won't have mice. It's a whole thing. Look it up. Reb Shaila, Kerestir, and mice. I'm serious. I'm not joking. All right. HaYom
הזה הוא זמן שמחתנו. שמע את התפילה שבליבנו.
HaYom thoughts for the day, third of the year. Today's entry reminds us of the basic creed of Chassidus, simply that Hashem is, and all matter only exists because it is a mechanism for revealing that. So Reb Zusha is not merely making lemonade out of lemons, finding some creative lesson from evil. He's telling us that thievery, that evil, only exists because it is a prompt for us to learn a crucial life lesson. So should you encounter a frustration or a foible, God forbid, do more than just say, oh well, what can I learn from this? Rather focus that this is the godly message and a time for a true looking glass into Hashem. See the godliness, and maybe the evil will go away. It will have served its purpose.
Who is a wise man, asks the Mishnah? One who learns from every person. Really? Every person? The great Hasidic masters took this quite literally. Today's HaYom puts you into a classroom, and your teacher is a criminal. The tzaddik, Reb Zusha of Anipoli, learned a number of important lessons. Said we can learn a number of important lessons from a thief. As I go through the list of virtuous traits of the thief, I want you to think about how incorporating these traits in your life would make you a more accomplished person and a better Jew. Firstly, number one, a thief works very quietly because for the thief, the priority is to get the job done. And the less people that know about the thief's accomplishments, the better off he is. Number two, the thief is so committed and dedicated to getting the job done, he is ready to put himself into danger in order to get it done. That's the level of commitment that the thief has. Number three, the thief recognizes that in order for his mission to be successful, even the smallest detail is of tremendous importance. He cannot afford for even one part of his mission to go wrong. Every single detail has to be executed to perfection. Number four, A thief knows that you cannot be a successful thief by just relaxing. He labors with tremendous effort and toil. Number 5, a thief knows that if he's going to be successful, he's got to be on the move. He's got to do the job quickly. No time to postpone things. Number 6, the thief is always confident and optimistic that things will work out. And finally, if the thief does not succeed at his mission the first time around, you can be sure that he will be back to try again and again until he succeeds.
All right. I'm being asked to tell the Shia mouse story. You can actually go to Amazon, and if you look up Reb Shia, you will find an amulet, a laminated card amulet for protection against mice. It's hysterical. It's actually an item on uh, on Amazon. For $9.39, you can have a laminated amulet card. Reb Yeshua Steiner of Karastir, a very pious man, humbly referred to himself in the diminutive. He always called himself Shaila. He would host elaborate malava malkas, the meal that follows Shabbos, on Saturday night, and often he would have his Hasidim shechte, fresh chicken, for the meal. So one Saturday night, while eating this meal with his Hasidim, a Chassid came to him with an urgent request. He was a man who had a warehouse full of foodstuffs and made his living by buying and selling food. For the past number of months, the warehouse had been taken over by mice who were eating his grain and other commodities, and his entire livelihood was threatened. He asked Reb Shia for a blessing that the mice should leave the warehouse. At that time, each small town in Europe was ruled by the local church pastor. Some of the pastors were very kind towards the Jews, and others very harsh. The Chassid replied that Reb Shia asked the Chassid if the pastor of his town was kind or harsh. The Chassid replied that he was very harsh against the Jews. Reb Shia then instructed the Chassid to go to his warehouse and tell the mice. Reb Shia says to go to the estate of the pastor. The Chassid followed the Rebbe's advice, and instantly hundreds of mice raced out of the warehouse, all heading in the direction of the pastor's estate. The Chassid's business was saved, and ever since, Jews who have been plagued with problems of mice have used the picture of Reb Shia to accomplish the ridding of mice from their homes. Now, I'm not telling you that that's the solution, but ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that may be the solution. Okay? I know. It's a really, really crazy story, but it is true. And people go. There are people right now in the town of Karastir. And I had the zchus, the great honor, to know a descendant of Reb Shia, the Rebbitzin, and her husband, who became the Rebbe, and their children, the Gross family from Gross Brothers Printing in New York City, and Reb Yoikel Gross, a great friend of Modi, by the way. So yeah, we're connected, which is really cool. All right. Now it's time for a word from our sponsors.
And now, a word from our sponsors. PestProRidall.com.
PestProRidall.com. Trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidall.com.
Tarzan Group, micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzangroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565 and order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzangroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids, beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign@gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications, logos, wall hangings, Judaica, and you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Helping lots of people any way we can. Tzedakah is the Jewish way to help your fellow man.
All right. If you would like to participate in giving tzedakah and bringing Torah all around the world, scan this handy QR code, which will take you to breakfastwitheli.live/support, where you can help us pay our bills. And by supporting Torah, you are helping people to learn Torah. And that is a big, big, big thing. So breakfastwitheli.live/support or patreon.com/theactorsrabbi. Thank you so much. All right, it is Thursday.
Torah, 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 Siva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Siva lanu Moshe.
And we are doing Rabbi Sachs' Covenant and Conversation. I don't remember how long this one is, so we'll either do half of it or all of it.
The power of speech. The sages identified tzara'at, the condition that affects human skin, fabric of garments, and the walls of a house, isn't an illness but a punishment, and not for any sin in general, but for one in particular, that of lashon hara, evil speech. Which prompts the obvious question, why evil speech, not some other sin? Why should speaking be worse than, say, physical violence? There's an old English saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. It's unpleasant to hear bad things said about you, but no more than that. There's not even a direct prohibition against evil speech in the Torah. There's a prohibition against gossip, lo telech rachil. Do not go around as a gossiper among your people. Lashon hara is a subset of this larger command. Here's how Maimonides defines it. There's a far greater sin that falls under the prohibition of gossip, that is, the evil tongue, which refers to whoever speaks disparagingly of his fellow, even though he speaks the truth. The sages go to remarkable lengths to emphasize its seriousness. It is, they say, as bad as all three cardinal sins together: idol worship, bloodshed, and illicit sexual relations. Whoever speaks with an evil tongue, they say, is as if he denied God. They also say it's forbidden to dwell in the vicinity of those with an evil tongue, and all the more so to sit with them and listen to their words. So why are words treated with such seriousness in Judaism? The answer touches on one of the most basic principles of Jewish belief. There are ancient cultures who worship the gods because they saw them as powers: lightning, thunder, the rain, the sun, the sea, and the ocean that epitomizes the force of chaos, and sometimes wild animals that represented danger and fear. Judaism wasn't a religion that worshipped power, despite the fact that God is more powerful than any pagan deity. Judaism, like other religions, has holy places, holy people, sacred times, and consecrated rituals. What made Judaism different, though, is that it is supremely a religion of holy words. With words, God created the universe, and God said, "Let there be," and there was. Through words, he communicated with humankind. In Judaism, language itself is holy, which is why lashon hara, the use of language to harm, isn't a mere minor offense. It involves taking something that is holy holy and using it for purposes that are unholy. It's a kind of desecration. After creating the universe, God's first gift to the first man was the power to use words to name the animals, and thus use language to classify. This was the start of the intellectual process, that is, the distinction of Homo sapiens. The Targum translates the phrase, and man became a living creature, as Ruach Mamalala, a speaking spirit. Evolutionary biologists nowadays take the view that it was the demands of language and the advantage this gave humans over every other life form that led to the massive expansion of the human brain. When God sought to halt the plan of the people of Babel to build a tower that would reach heaven, he merely confused their language so that they were unable to communicate. Language remains basic to the existence of human groups. It was the rise of nationalism in the 19th century that led to the gradual downplaying of regional dialects in favor of a single shared language across the territory over which a political authority had sovereignty. To this day, differences of language, where they exist within a single nation, are the source of ongoing political and social friction. For example, between English and French speakers in Canada, or Dutch, French, German, and Walloon speakers in Belgium, or Spanish and Basque languages in Spain. So God created the natural universe with words, and we create and sometimes destroy social universes with words. So the first principle of language in Judaism is that it is creative. We create worlds with words. The second principle, no less fundamental, is that Abrahamic monotheism introduced into the world the idea of a God who transcends the universe and who therefore cannot be identified with any phenomenon within the universe. God is invisible. Hence, in Judaism, all religious images and icons are a sign of idolatry. So how does an invisible God reveal himself?
And we will conclude that tomorrow, God willing, from our not-so-invisible God. In the fifth Aliyah, if an individual suffering from tsaras cannot afford any of the above sacrifices, 2 birds can be substituted for 2 animals. So this section describes the slightly different purification process reserved for an impoverished person. Chumash and Rashi with Rabbi
Jewish audio on Chabad.org.
What if the person is poor and cannot afford these sacrifices? So then he could use fowl instead of lambs for the sin offering and the scent offering. He must take 1 male lamb as a guilt offering, because he has to at least bring that as a lamb. First to be waved as a wave offering, which brings atonement for him, the amount of flour, oil, etc. And then 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, which are even less expensive than turtle doves, according to what he can afford, 1 for a sin offering and 1 for an olah. He must bring them to the Kohen on the 8th day of the purification to the entrance of the courtyard of the Mishkan. And the priest must take the lamb and the oil, bring them inside the courtyard, and wave them as a wave offering for Hashem. He then slaughters the guilt offering, and again puts it on the middle ridge of the right ear, thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot. Then he must pour some of the oil again onto his left palm, sprinkle it 7 times in direction of Hashem, then put the oil on the person in the 3 spots of his body, and then over their head, and then offer 1 of the turtle doves or 1 of the young pigeons as part of the offering. And this is the law regarding somebody suffering from a legion of tsaras, but who cannot afford to do anything more when he needs to be purified. Tomorrow we continue with the tzarat of the body. With the tzarat of the house.
All right. Rabbi Epstein.
Parsha points Tazria, the Thursday, or spelled Aleph Vav Resh means light, or spelled Ayin Vav Resh means skin. Adam and Chava fell and they had to cover their light Aleph Vav Resh with leather clothing, Ayin Vav Resh. The Kohen and the Kohen Gadol wear clothing to highlight, get it? Highlight? The glory of Hashem. The skin of the afflicted one bespeaks their failure. The tsaras announces it, and yet it empowers their repair. The return of the or, Aleph Vav Resh, of light, from the or ayin vav resh of tainted skin. Asher points Metzora for Thursday. It's okay to make mistakes, just don't make the same mistake twice. We all have our innate challenges, nurture, nature. It's the consequence of the sin of the tree of knowledge. We are all stained by it. That's involuntary. Repeating it, that's on us. A third time means it's my problem. Look, the tendency is not my doing. The manifestation is. The Zav, discussed in today's Chumash, is a distinctive form of Tumah. It stems from the nature of Gullus. Its impact worsens with repeated failure. We cannot control who we are. We must control who we become.
That when facing a challenge, you're crawling under, or you take the high road, you're jumping over. Let me discuss this soon, especially today in honor of the Rebbe Marash's birthday. But before this, let us say together chapter 124, and thanking Hashem and praying to Him for the miracle that we're all waiting for, the coming of Moshiach, which will solve all problems. Shir HaMalos LeDavid. Luli Adonai shoyer lanu yemano Yisrael, Luli Adonai shoyer lanu bekum aleinu Adam. Azai chayim b'launu b'charois ha'pambana, azai mayim shtafunu nachlo over nafshenu, azai over nafshenu amayim azidonim, Baruch Adonai shloinu sanon teref l'shineim. Nafshenu kitziponim l'to mepach yokshim apach nishbo v'natnu nimlotnu, ezreinu b'shem Adonai oisei shomayim v'or. We're all tuned into what's happening in Eretz Yisrael. The hostages, the ongoing war for a year and a half. But now suddenly there's a new thing. Fires burning around Jerusalem. Now I wonder, is there anything that you and I can do to stop those fires? I have a suggestion. But first, let us say the Rebbe's chapter of Tehillim, 124 Tehillim, is the best remedy. Shir HaMalos LeDavid, Lulei Adonai shoyer lanu yemano Yisrael, Lulei Adonai shoyer lanu bekum aleinu Adam, azai chayim b'launu b'charois ha'pambanu, azai hamayim shetafunu nachlu over nafshenu, azai over nafshenu hamayim azidonim, Baruch Adonai shloinu sanonu teref l'shineim, nafshenu k'tzipo nimloto, v'pach yokshim apach nishbo v'anachnu nimlotnu, ezreinu b'shem Adonai oisei shomayim v'oretz. Let us give some tzedakah with the prayers and the hope and the certainty and the faith that suddenly, instead of those fires burning around Jerusalem, devastating fire, suddenly we're going to see the Beis HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, coming down in fire and landing mountaintop where it's supposed to be, and all of us will be redeemed from this exile. We are in a very special time of the year. It's called the time of Sfirat Omer, the counting of the Omer. But it's also the time that we know we don't do any celebrations, we don't do any weddings, we avoid music. The reason? Because between the period of Pesach and Shavuos, for a period of 33 days, 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva, the famous Rabbi Akiva, the basis for the whole Talmud, 24,000 students of his passed away. And the Gemara tells us why. What happened? What was the plague? And the Gemara says, the Talmud says, Sheloi nohagu kavod zeh lo zeh, because they did not treat each other with respect. Now, usually, loosely, we translate this as meaning they were lacking a love for each other. Now, this is unacceptable. Rabbi Akiva's life motto, Rabbi Akiva's basic teaching is, Rabbi Akiva mizeh v'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha. Love your fellow Jew as yourself. Love your fellow man as yourself. Zeh klal gadol by Torah. This is a basic, fundamental teaching in the Torah. It's inconceivable that the students of Rabbi Akiva should completely ignore their master, their teacher, and just do the opposite. But when we pay attention to the words, it doesn't say that they didn't love each other. It says that they didn't respect. The meaning, as the Rebbe explains, is as follows. They didn't respect the opinion of the others. They were so strongly opinionated. And they were so certain that the way they heard their teacher, their master, Rabbi Akiva, teaching them, and the way they understood it, is exactly what the teacher said. So when they heard a friend, a colleague of theirs, giving a different interpretation because of the great love for the other, they wanted him to understand exactly the way they understood, because they were convinced that this is what their teacher says. You know, there's an expression, smothering a child with love, stifling a child with love. That's what happened. There's a pasuk in the Torah that says regarding Shabbat, do not kindle, do not flame a fire on the day of Shabbos in your homes, in all your homes. So our sages tell us, the Torah tells us, this is the only command that the Torah says clearly about Shabbos. All the others we have to know orally and so on and so forth. What the Torah says, to marry the proper Shabbos, don't light a flame of disputes. Do not light a flame of discord in your homes, in all your dwellings, in your home, in your community, in your shul, in your environment, in your neighborhood, in your city, in your country. Wherever you are, wherever you live, do not kindle a fire. You want to appreciate Shabbos, the holiness, the menucha, the peaceful environment of Shabbos, make sure that you do not create any flames of dispute. My friends, Jerusalem is burning. Let us stop our misunderstandings. Let us start accepting each other the way each one is and respect each other's opinion. And this way, we will marry the flame of the Beis HaMikdash and not, God forbid, the devastating flames. And may this happen right now.
Amen. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Al Yedei Amiras Tehillim, Al Yedei Amiras Tehillim, Al Yedei Amiras Tehillim.
Let's say some Tehillim. We are saying chapters 23 and 124. Let's do it.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי, לא אחסר, בינוס תשע, ירביצני, על מי מנוחוס ינהלני, נפשי שובב, ינחני ומעגלי צדק, למען שמו, גם כי לך בגיא צלמובס, לא ירא, כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני, תערוך לפניי שולחן נגד צורריי, תשענת ושמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני. כל ימי חיי ושבתי בביס אדוני לאורך ימים.
Shem Allah is leda velole yadai no shayala no yemana Yisrael velole yadai no shayala no bekom aleinu adam azai chayim belonu v'charais afam banu azai amayim
are learning Tanya for today. Yeah, that's right. Okay, here we go.
Tanya thoughts for the 3rd of Iyar. Ever feel like you stumbled into the wrong class? Excuse me? I'm looking for the introductory level, not the advanced. Tanya says that everyone, even you on the couch with a bag of potato chips, has an intuitive, innate love for Hashem as passionate as a child's love for his parent that would prompt the child to surrender his own life to protect his parent. Everybody has that level of love for Hashem. How come I don't always see it? How do you attain it? Practice, practice, practice. And you will awaken that form, or at least some of it, of that selfless love.
Thank you for joining Tanya in 5. Today's lesson for the 3rd of Iyar, we continue in chapter 44. Previously, we spoke about desiring God as much as we desire life. Yivisich, I desire you, God, because you are my soul, you are my very life. The next part of this is a higher level, a more intense love than this love of desiring God. Because he is my life, because this will be as much as you desire life, that's as much as you will desire to cleave to God with love. But this is beyond that, and it is like a son or a child that loves their parents, their mother and father, more than their own body, more than their own soul, more than their own spirit, who this child is ready to give up his life or her life for one's parent. This is the metaphor for us to understand. And even though this is spoken of in the Zohar in reference to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, who is far beyond us, yet don't we all have one Father? In other words, we all have this capacity that we can sacrifice ourselves beyond ourselves for his sake. Although one might say, how could we be so presumptuous that we could approach such a level? Are we a thousandth that of Moshe Rabbeinu, of Moses, in his love? He is the faithful shepherd after all. Nevertheless, the Alter Rebbe says, a minute portion, a particle of his goodness and his light illuminates the souls of the Jewish people. By way of each generation, that there is an individual who can teach us and bring that love of God and incorporate it in our very experience, in our very soul. And being that there is that emanation in every generation that illuminates our soul, and in the end, that is a part of who I am. In other words, it's a part of the soul makeup that I have, that God is my Father. And even though it's concealed within me, nonetheless, it could be brought out, this hidden love, from its concealment to a state of revelation, to be manifest in the heart, in the mind of an individual. In other words, it's not beyond our reach. It is very close to us. It is very close to us, both in our mouth and in our hearts, that we could have some kind of sense, some kind of feeling towards us. That is to say, how could we do this? It's only by habituating ourselves with our tongue to arouse the intention of the heart and the mind, as to immerse in the thought of the thought of and speaking in a way that God is our Father. He is our source of life, and this should awaken in us this love for Him, just like a son loves his father, just as a child loves his parent. And when we speak this way, to arouse that within us, that sentiment, then eventually we will accustom ourselves by continuously doing this, that it will become our nature. It'll become a part of us and not something separate from us, even though seemingly this is a great quality that we are ready to sacrifice our lives, as a child is for their parents, because their parents are more dear than their own very life, a very lofty level. This is distinctive then from the previous class, which speaking about desiring God just as we desire life. And since God is my life, but as much as I desire life, that's how much I desire God. Here, this is even beyond that. This is beyond my life that I desire, because I'm ready to give up my life, to sacrifice my life for my parents. So likewise, for God, we are ready to love Him with such a great devotion, with such a great sacrifice. And that's this chapter, in one word, is visich, I desire, but that was the previous notion, and this part would be kibra, like a son or a child that desires to sacrifice their lives for the sake of their greater love for their parents. And that is Tanya in 5. Thank you for joining.
No, it's not impossible that Rebbe did say, just study Rambam each and every day. I'll never miss my daily Rambam. My Rebbe so desires, I'm not busy or too tired. When I learn Rambam's connected, I remain, I am a link in the Rebbe's golden chain.
All right, we are doing Sefer HaMitzvahs, and we're doing mitzvah number 62 today.
Baruch Hashem, today is day number 62 of Rambam Sefer HaMitzvahs. We're continuing corresponding to the subject matter in the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, where we're studying Hilchas Kiddush HaChodesh, and we're studying about the Jewish calendar. In the 3 chapters a day, we're on chapters 6, 7, and 8 of these laws. And I'll say it again, today's mitzvah, positive commandment number 153, the commandment to calculate the Jewish calendar. Okay, I'll add a little bit more information. Yesterday, I spoke about the new moon, about the High Court proclaiming the first day of the new month based on eyewitness testimony. There's another major feature of the Jewish calendar, and that is proclaiming a leap year. A leap year in the Jewish calendar is very different than what you might be used to if you're used to using the Gregorian calendar. And to you, a leap year probably means every 4 years. You have February 29th, you add an extra day. Okay. In the Jewish calendar, a leap year means a whole extra month. There's a month called Adar. It's the last month of the year. And when necessary, we will create a whole second month, an Adar base, it's called. There's a first Adar, Adar Aleph, and then there's an Adar base, a second month of Adar, in order to prolong the year. What's the deal with that? Why is that happening? Well, basically, Jewish months are true lunar months. In the Gregorian calendar, months are actually completely meaningless. Knowing the date of the month will not tell you what phase the moon is in whatsoever. It's just dividing. The Gregorian calendar just takes the solar year and divides it into 12 months, but they don't actually have any relationship to the moon. The Jewish calendar, the date of the month will tell you exactly the phase of the moon. So we know, yesterday we mentioned, on the first day of the month, the moon, the little sliver of the moon has just become apparent. Okay, and it continues to wax, that means get bigger and bigger, until it becomes a full moon on the 15th of the month. And then it gets smaller. It wanes until it disappears at the last day of the month, on the 29th day of the month. Okay, so here's the issue. The month, a real true lunar month, is, as I mentioned yesterday, 29 and a fraction. Yesterday I said 29 and a fraction. If you really want to know, so I'll tell you what the Rambam says. Actually, in today's Mishnah Torah, in chapter 6, halacha 4, he gives us the exact number. He says that if you have 12 lunar months, true lunar months, you end up getting 354 days, 8 hours, and 867 parts. So It's like 354 and a third, roughly. Okay. Now, a solar year, a true solar year, is, the Rambam says, 365 days and 6 hours. So that's 365 and a quarter. So we have a discrepancy between a lunar year, meaning 12 actual lunar months. We have a discrepancy between that total and a solar year of 10 days and 21 hours and 204 parts. These parts are, well, maybe we'll talk about, God willing, the parts, these little fractions, and what they mean and why we use them. At any rate, what do we do with the fact that every year, every non-leap year, we have a shortfall of 10 days and 21 hours? In other words, every time we finish a cycle of 12 true lunar months, we're about 10 days short of having finished a complete solar year. And if that adds up, if that keeps on compounding, eventually what will happen is, and this is one of the major indications that we need a leap year, the festivals will be in the wrong season, particularly Pesach, the festival of Passover, which is also known as the festival of the springtime, the Aviv. And therefore, if Pesach is coming so early that it's not the spring, and there's different indications what spring means. There are some indications that are astronomical, others that are botanical. But at any rate, when we see that happening, I say we, but really, I mean the High Court in Jerusalem will add an extra month, an additional month of Adar, the 12th month, and add a second 12th month, which I guess you call it the 13th month, to push off the occurrence of Nisan, which is the first month, the month of Passover, so that Passover will be in the springtime, in the correct season. Okay, God willing, we'll speak more about this fascinating mitzvah tomorrow.
Let's discuss some more about positive mitzvah 153, the obligation on the Jewish courts to decide when the new month begins on the Jewish calendar. We mentioned yesterday that on the night following the 29th day of the month, it is sometimes possible to sight the new moon's crescent, and the Jewish court would determine astronomically whether this was possible. If it was, they would await witnesses who would come and claim that they had seen the new moon the night before. And yesterday we mentioned that if the testimony was accurate, Rosh Chodesh would be determined on that day, and if the testimony was not accurate, Rosh Chodesh would be pushed to the next day. What we haven't discussed is what happens if no witnesses came at all. What would happen then would be that Rosh Chodesh would be pushed off to the next day, even though it was possible to have sighted the new moon the night before. The Torah makes it very clear that the testimony of witnesses is integral to deciding when Rosh Chodesh would be. Even if astronomically we know that it's possible to sight the new moon, if no witnesses actually come forth and claim that they saw it, Rosh Chodesh could not be determined to be on that day.
All right, and that takes us to matters of Moshiach. Sometime today. We're getting there.
גואלנו, והוא גואלנו, והוא גואלנו, משיח צדקנו, הרבי מלובביץ' מלך המשיח, הרבי מלובביץ'.
All right. The Rebbe Maharaj, whose birthday was yesterday, once asked his father, the coming of Mashiach is a revelation of the essence of the neshama. That year, the Likutei Torah was printed. It revealed the essence of the Torah, through which the essence of the soul is revealed. The Rebbe Marash said, but we need Mashiach to come literally. Although there are spiritual aspects to the redemption, and many are available, we must not be satisfied. We must demand Mashiach in the literal sense. Here's Shmuel Tzvi. Love this guy.
Shalom, everybody. Over the next 24 hours, we have an amazing opportunity. We have an anonymous sponsor who will match any donation to the Torah channel. Now is your chance. Please help support us, and Hashem promises to reward you. You will be helping deliver the message of God to millions of people. And also, whatever you give will be doubled. So if you give $50, 100 will be given. An extra 50 will be given by the anonymous donor. Now's the chance. Please give, and Hashem will surely give you much more.
Mashiach's waiting at the door, so let us greet him and come back home, finally home in the place where we belong. It's been so long that we've been gone, so lost and alone, scattered all across the globe. But now that we are back again, we beg you, please resume your throne. We're finally home.
All right, let's bring some heaven down to earth. It's true. By learning Torah, that's what we're doing. If I wish to find all that's real and true at its very core, I would not find it in the ecstasy of the prayer of the devoted, nor in the epiphanies of the enlightened. I wouldn't find it in the deeds of the righteous, nor the love and kindness of those who live in harmony. There I'd find a blinding light, an infinite light, but I wouldn't find God himself. If I want to find Hashem as he is, at his essence, beyond all light and darkness, beyond the infinite and the boundless, I'd come to the place of those who struggle daily to escape the muck and mire, those who labor to pierce the wall of their prison so that even a glimmer of light can break through, and even as they fail, try again and again and again. For this struggle, all light was created. To the aid of this struggle, Hashem himself descends. When those walls are pierced, the Creator exclaims, "It was worth it, all this creation. It was worth it for this alone." Oh man, that's amazing. I love it. All right, if you want to talk to me more about it, come to me on any of the Actors Rabbis platforms at Clubhouse, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube, or theactorsrabbi.com. Go there and sign up on our mailing list. And for life coaching services, should you need them. All right, let's make an after bracha.
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam boirei nefashos rabois v'chesronan al kol ma sheborasa lachayos boem nefesh kol chai baruch chai haolamim.
All right, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my Patreon sponsors, Pesper, Riddle, Tarzan Orchid, Steve the Design, Bracha Biederman, Avi G, Rezu Musavi, Ruthie, Jennifer, and our anonymous donor. If you would like to donate, please scan this handy QR code, which will take you to breakfastwithelli.live/support, breakfastwithelli.live/support, where you can donate to bringing Torah all around the world. It's true. Reb Shaila ben Reb Moshe. Oh man, we got a really good one for you here today. All right. Elli Levin is doing a vocal version of Reb Shaila ben Moshe. Reb Shaila ben Moshe. I love it. It's great. My connection to Karastir is so cool. And I am so proud to be associated with those who knew Reb Shaila. And yeah. What can I tell you? That's all I got to say today. All right. Thank you so much for being here. It is Gimel Iyar, the yard side of Reb Shaila of Karastir. Please go out and do an amazing thing today, and something nice and something good for someone in the memory of Reb Shaila of Karastir. If you need a bracha, today's the day to ask. All right. In the words of Rabbi Isaac Kamler, have affection for a fellow. Hashem will have affection for you. Do a kindness for a fellow. Hashem will do a kindness for you. Draw a fellow close. Hashem will draw you close to him. Pirkei Avos tomorrow. Be the reason somebody smiles. Make it a great and glorious day. And we will see you, God willing, tomorrow, Erev Shabbos.
Reb Shaila ben Reb Moshe, Reb Shaila ben Reb Moshe, Poil for Klal Yisrael, Bu Nachayim Zoyim L'vracha, Reb Shaila ben Reb Moshe, Reb Shaila ben Reb Moshe.
There's no such a thing.
In
today's Mitzvah Minute, the bridge version of the Code of Jewish Law, we're moving on.
Reb Shaila ben Reb Moshe, Reb Shaila ben Reb Moshe, Poil for Klal Yisrael, Bu Nachayim Zoyim Reb Shaila ben Moshe, Poil for Klal Yisrael.
The Gemara in Bava Metzia.
Bring them home, bring them home. We've been praying for so long, so Abba, please bring them home. Bring them home, please bring them home. We've been praying for so long, so Abba, please bring them home. We're coming home, we're almost home. La, la,